So Ariel, I want to show you the model and what I've done so far. As I mentioned this morning in the email, I kind of changed the scope a little bit. I wasn't going to rely on sketches, but I wanted to build actually something that looks a little bit more 3D. I think it might be easier to resolve. Think about the sketches, that's really good to resolve mechanics. We might be able to still do that. We have some sketches in the background that we could use. But I think creating a 3D model might help better visualize what we're doing. So this is the model. Spin it around, you can see what we're doing here. We have the key in the bottom. We have our base down here. We have, and these are various, names in here that I grabbed off the video. So we have the base of the piano, just something to put that on, and another place to put the string on it. And then we have, the balance rail on the base, the pads are associated with that, including this fulcrum here. The key, the vertical push rod, and some other elements in here to help put that model together. But these are all based on the sketch, as I mentioned. So if you look at our right sketch, we had a number of different sketch pictures in here. What it is, I incorporated some of these pictures, some of these images from the model, from some of the stuff that you had sent to me into the model so I could actually build on that. So the very first one was that CAD model that somebody else had made, and I went ahead and just copied that. It was probably the easiest thing to copy it. What it is just sketched elements right on top of that in order to conform with what that picture looks like in the background. It's a fairly easy way of doing it. Then you round up or down the dimensions as needed. You have to create a place where the origin's going to be, so the right, front, and top planes all meet. So I put it right here, right at the fulcrum where the key meets this pad in here. And then we went up from there. So everything was kind of sketched out. So that's the first sketch. But other sketches are involved in here too. So if I take that sketch, I'm going to go ahead and suppress that, put in that second sketch. Let's go ahead and take a look at my right sketch in here. If we take that picture and bring that to life, this is your image. And from that image, I was able to get the wheels in here. I used a proportion up here to with a hammer too to make sure that everything's relatively close. Again, all this stuff can change. I'm going to have you take a look at the model, and if you see something that might not fit right, or if there's a proportion in here, a length or a width in something like this that probably needs to be changed, let me know about that. So take a look at some of these numbers in here. If you want to take a screenshot of that, you're welcome to do that. But I remember when we were at the music building, this line here, or this line over here, which represents the top of the key, that was about 11 inches. So that's kind of when I went off proportionally. I made that about 11 inches. It's a little bit more than 11 inches at a diagonal here. But, and that's just going to be a driven dimension in here too. So that's kind of what I did. And so everything else I just figured was proportional. So these are all the dimensions that are associated with that. If you need to get a screenshot of this to double check and verify some of these, let me know. So with this, we built the middle part of that, the part that's going to be innovative, the part of your design. I put all that together in this particular sketch as a portion of the right sketch. And then the last picture in here is going to be the hammer. And that's going to be the hammer inverted. So again, if I go back to the right sketch, which kind of drives the whole design in here, actually rotate things around a little bit just to get the proportions of the hammer in here. So you can see how that comes together. So that's the model. Let me go ahead and rebuild that. I'm going to take that sketch and suppress that for now. And it's not movable yet, but all these different parts, these are all different what they call model or solid bodies. They could be taken out of the part and inserted individually into the assembly so we can begin to get that assembled. I didn't put the assembly together. I just ran out of time. This took about 2 hours. I'm going to stick with my 1 hour estimate. But when we put this together into an assembly, having real 3D virtual parts in here will really help put it all together. It'll make it a lot more visual. And because everything's based off the right plane in here, it's going to be a simple drop and then add relationships in there to make that move. But the first thing before we get to the assembly, just make sure that the proportions and the scale on the right sketch are correct. Because everything's driven off that right sketch. All these parts come off that right sketch. So let me do this. Let me go ahead and show that sketch. And I'm going to try to zoom in and make that fit. So take a screenshot of that and make sure I have a lot of the proportions in here and a lot of the dimensions in here correct. If you want to get something that's a little bit more clear, let me know about that. And then we'll go from there.